Hey folks, it's time for another board game, and today we're going to be opening up Flamecraft. This is the deluxe Kickstarter version of Flamecraft, which I picked up recently on eBay for a very good price. I actually was in a board game shop in Cardiff recently, and I saw the retail version of Flamecraft, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the game made by Cardboard Alchemy, who are the guys behind Critter Kitchen, which is a board game that I have actually backed on Kickstarter. So I was really intrigued, did some research on this, and I was eventually able to pick up a second-hand copy of the deluxe Kickstarter edition on eBay. So I'm very happy about this one. We've already played a game and it was really awesome. So we're going to open this up and have a look at all the components. Now, the main selling point of Flamecraft for me anyway is actually the art by Sandara Tang. Sandara does the art for Critter Kitchen as well, and it's such a unique and awesome looking design philosophy. All the characters are super cute and the artwork is just so beautiful across these games. Now, as far as I understand it, both the standard and deluxe box look very similar, even though they contain very different things. So if we turn it over and look at the back, you can see that it shows what is included in the game. It's a 1 to 5 player game, lasts about 60 minutes, which on our first run it took, I think, just over that, but it was our first game, and it seemed like a pretty good game time. And it says it's age 10 and up. In a magical realm, a village awakes, and the artisan dragons make coffee and cakes. Compete to enchant the town in this dragon placement game with shared engine building for 1 to 5 players. You are a flamekeeper, skilled in the art of conversing with dragons. Gain the most reputation in town, become the master of flame. So essentially in Flamecraft, you have a town laid out with various shops, and you will be sending dragons to the shops, taking some of the items that you can get from the shops and using them to cast enchantments, essentially. And you can then use those to gain reputation around the scoreboard, and at the end of the game, the person with the most reputation wins. It's a very simple game, but it's got a lot of cool different things that you can do to it, and it's just incredibly charming. So here's a look at what's included inside the box. Now, the only main difference between the deluxe version and the retail version is that you get these dragon miniatures included, as well as the wooden meeples that you get in standard edition. They don't really add to the gameplay at all, but you know, they look pretty cute. You get metal coins instead of cardboard ones, and then you also get wooden resources instead of little cardboard tokens. That's really the only difference, and then anything else that was Kickstarter exclusive would also have been in here. Okay, without further ado, let us open it up. First of all, we have the rulebook. Now, this is a really nice rulebook. It's very well illustrated, it's very colourful. You can see each section is very well laid out. It's not a big rulebook, there's not a lot of things you need to learn. Quite a lot of this rulebook is just clarifications around abilities, information about companions, and also solo mode. So it's a really easy game to learn, I think. Moving that to the side, we have the contents inside here. So it's laid out in a pretty nice way. In the deluxe edition, you have these game trays over here which contain the resources. We have 2 layers of these, so you know, if you've got a large table, you can separate and have like one of these on either side. Also got your silicone gel, never forget. So opening up the trays, this is what the resources look like. So there's 6 different kinds of resource. You have here meat, then you have iron, we've got gems here, this is bread, of course, with some butter, we've got some herbs, and then we have potions as well, which I think this is the Cardboard Alchemy potion symbol, which is pretty cool. So 2 layers of those. I can't remember exactly how many of each there is, but there should be more than enough for a game. And they do actually sell jumbo versions of these on the Lucky Duck Games website, I think it is. But yeah, this was more than enough for a 2-player game, way more than enough. 5-player maybe might get a bit stretched. Okay, let's take these off. So we've got some jumbo cards under here. First ones on top here, these are actually Kickstarter exclusive alternate starter shops. You see it says optional setup, swap all 6 starters. So if we open these, see the back here, this indicates that it is a starter and you get 6 of these. This is just an information thing. what we'll do is we'll look at the regular starter shops and then we'll compare to these. So when you start playing the game, there are 6 shops already around town, and they are the Smith Mart here. So you see the artwork is just really, really awesome. Each of these shops will have one of the resource icons in the corner, and then down here is where you can place your dragons. Certain types of dragons can be placed in here, and then you get rewards for doing so. The starter dragon would go here. So yeah, we have Smith Mart, we have potable potions, really, really cute. Fragile reptile, which is one of the gem ones. We have critical rolls. I just love that he's making the bread. It's so awesome. The artwork is so cute. Draco Bell, or Draco Bell, I guess, because it's meant to be a Taco Bell parody, but pretty cute. Makes food. And then we have Hello Nursery as well. So these are the starter shops that you get in every edition of the game. And then these are our Kickstarter alternative ones. So we have Grand Entrance here, which is the bread one. And you can see this has a special ability. So you can either choose to take 1 reputation or lose 1 reputation in exchange for 2 bread. We have Lighthouse Point, which is the gem. Looks really, really cute. Same sort of ability on these ones. We have Water Lily Way. So these ones aren't really shops so much as they are like locations around the town. Skyrise District is really cute in a hot air balloon. Then we have Hidden Reserve, having some tea in the back room. And then we have the Red Tail Wharf, which I guess is like a, a fishing district. So they have slight differences then to the regular starter shops because they have the addition of abilities, and we also have different rewards down here. See, a fancy dragon is on the middle one, and then you get a coin on the right one, which is different to the regular starter shop. So it's nice to have a bit of variety. So as I said, I believe that these were exclusive to the Kickstarter, so they probably won't be in the retail version of the game. Okay, so other than the starter shops, you also get these player guide cards. So this is the one for solo play, because solo play does work differently. You've also got achievement lists on the back, which is really awesome. So that's for solo, and then you have 7 of these, 1 for each of the dragons. Now, those of you who were looking at the back of the box and paying attention might have noticed there were only 6 dragons, so we'll cover that in just a minute. But yeah, these player guides are really useful because the game really is simple enough that once you know the basic rules, you can just play using these, and these are very helpful when you're playing. In our first game, we basically just read through them each time. On the back is also some useful information on what each of the symbols mean, and also what some of the abilities of the start dragons. So yeah, pretty cool. Okay, then these cards are the other shops, so the non-starter shops. As you are filling in the dragons in town, each shop can only have 3 dragons on it, so once the shop is filled, you would add a new shop to the town until you've reached the maximum, which is pretty cool. So the brown-backed shops are ones that you could add to the town. We've actually got 2 piles here. So we're going to go through each of them. I'm not going to read all their abilities, but we are going to have a look at the artwork. This one is Spellfire Springs. We have Draconic Tonic. I love the names and the artwork. It's just so charming. Full Plate Buffet. Fogo de Char. A kind of meat counter. Oh my god. Oh dear. Hedges and Henges. Tip the Scales. I see what you did there. Dragon Horde Bank. We have the Drake of Cakes, La Petite Dragon, like a French restaurant. Gnome Depot, no prizes for what that's a reference to. The Savage Beat, so cute, lovely tailors. Scale Mail Post. Also worth mentioning as well, some of the shops have different icons in the corner that aren't one of the 6 resources, and they mean different things. So this one means you get an artisan dragon, so one of the dragon types. This one just means it's anything, essentially. So you get one of whichever resource you want. There's also ones for coins, which we'll look at in a minute. You've got Nunya's Beeswax, some kind of beehive. This one you see you get coins from this one, the Wishing Well. So you may flip up to 3 coins into the Wishing Well. If you get heads, then you gain 2 reputation, and tails means you lose the coin. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Very good way to get reputation. Flagons of Dragons, some kind of pub or inn. The Bizarre Bazaar, very awesome. More on paws. Very cute. We have the Eternal Flame. Some kind of spa. Well, not spa, like a place to relax. We have the Dragon Tail Roost. We had this one in our game, and essentially you can just park upside down dragons here and get reputation. It's pretty useful. Dragon Alley we also had, very cool. Obviously meant to be like Diagon Alley from Harry Potter, but it's where you can exchange coins for goods, which is pretty awesome. Saving Throw, very nice. Funky Brewsters, clearly meant to be a coffee shop. We have the Sage of Sage. The Flame Starter statue. This is a Kickstarter exclusive, I believe, hence the Kickstarter logo in the corner. Then we have the Pizza Coven, just incredible. We have the Spice Tower, which I believe is based on the Dice Tower. I think this must have been a Kickstarter exclusive, I might be wrong. There are some promo shops that you can get. I think they gave them out at different like conventions and such, and there's one of them you can buy straight from the website, but they just add more shops to the game, so they're not necessary, but you know, it's nice to have a bit more variety. We have the Touch of Glass, doing some glass blowing there. Guilty Treasures, so clearly it's like some kind of sweet shop or something. And then we're back to La Petite Dragon. Now let's look at some of the other components. So there's lots of different things down here. I really like how this box is laid out so that everything is where it needs to be and just keeps everything nice and neat and tidy for when you need it. So this is actually the playmat. You get a neoprene playmat in every version of the game, including the standard edition, which you can find the standard edition for as low as £30 in the UK, which is really awesome. So it's just really nice quality, and this is a really big mat, so I'll get this out last, I think. Over here we have our coins. Now they're in this really nice coin bag. It says it's dragon made. You can hear them in there rattling around. And these are metal coins in the deluxe edition and cardboard coins in the standard edition. So this is what they look like. So I guess that's the tails, Flamecraft, and that's the heads. I think they have made a series 2 of the coins as well with specific designs on them, because these coins all look the same in the first edition, but they're very nice and weighty and they're just fun to play with. And there's also a promo coin in here somewhere. Yeah, there he is. So there's a big silver one. So I guess that's, if you need to flip a coin, that's probably the one you want to do. So it's not counted in the 24, but nice to have. So that is coins. Coins are used in the game to basically buy the resources you need, so you can use them in place of certain resources in certain scenarios. Over here we have the dragon meeples. So you have one for each of the 6 dragons included in the main game, and this is what you get in the standard edition. So you get them in both the standard and deluxe version. These are the things you would use to choose. So I am the red dragon, and I'm sending my red dragon to this shop, so that's what you would do. You'd move your meeple over there. In the deluxe edition you also get a miniature of the dragon, so you can choose to play with the meeples or you can play with the miniatures. So I think they both are very cute and very charming, and it's just a nice little addition to get them as minis instead. I've seen some really nice painted versions of the minis online, so I'd love to be able to do that, but I'm just not a very handy person. So here's all of the wooden meeples for each of the dragons. They come in blue. This is like a grey colour. That's like the blacksmith one. So blue is like the gem one. Red is the meat one. Purple is the potion dragon. Yellow is the bread dragon. And then green is the herb dragon. Or maybe it's the sage dragon. I'm not sure, but you get one for each of these. In addition, you also get a wooden reputation marker in the shape of a heart for each of the playable dragons. So when we look at the playmat, you'll see where these go, and you'll just move them around to score yourself, essentially. When you hit the 50 mark, you would flip it over, and then you would be, you know, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It just makes it easy to identify where you are. Okay, so let's have a look at the other miniatures. So this is the Iron Dragon. Looks very cool. And then we've already seen the red guy. It's very cool. It's obviously the purple potion dragon, looking very elegant and scaly. We have the green dragon with these kind of like horns here, like deer horns. Leafy. The blue gem dragon. It's got like a mark on him, this one, but he's got like a collar as well. Very, very cute. And my personal favorite is the bread dragon. Just reminds me of Guillaumon from Digimon Tamers, how he loved to eat bread. That's what I think of anyway. Finally, before we look at the playmat, we have different piles of cards. So the game also comes with some additional companion cards that can be used in the game. They're completely optional, they just give you an extra ability. So we have here Sandara, which I'm guessing is based on the artist, which is really cute. We have Manny, Peter, Eric, Rich, Daniel, who is the one that I had when I played, he was very useful, and Brad, which is the one that my wife had, and that was also very good. These are the starter dragons, so these are the ones that you put down first on the starter shops, one for each of the material types. So we have Wingnut, Hickory, Bright Gem, Pan, Twig, and Tannin. It's just amazing artwork. This pile is the artisan dragons, so these are the other dragons that you can place on the shops as you go around, so you'll draw them from the artisan deck or from the park, which we'll look at in a minute. So we have Blossom, Death Fang, Elderberry, Earl, Moonbeam, Rusty. I think maybe Rusty is the dragon that we have. Don't know. We have Shale, Silver Scale, Mulch, Coal, Cinnabon, Suzette, Dandelion, Cutlet, Brisket. Do love Brisket. We have Venti because he's small. Jasmine, Lotus, Hot Dog, Potato, Cookie, Loaf, Opal Wing, Flint, Roxanne, Patina or Patina probably, Honey, Fondue, Olive, Herb, Flambe, Skewet, Lavender, Thistle, Frostfire, and Jewel Heart. So those are the artisan dragons. In addition, you have fancy dragons, and these ones you can't place in shops, but they are used to get you bonuses throughout the game. So you have Sun and Moon artisan fancy dragons. This is a Moon dragon, which means that you would score at the end of the game. So this says you get 2 reputation if you have 3 of the herbs, and if you have the most herbs out of all other players, then you would get +3, so 5 reputation, and you would score that at the end of the game. Then the sun ones are the ones that you can score at any time. So this one says gain 1 reputation for each unique artisan dragon in your hand. So you would choose to cash these in when you're ready, so you'd probably wait until you had a bunch of the dragons in your hand before you cash it in. But anyway, we have Forest, Rainbow, Matches, Todd, Sunlight, Boo Boo, Stephen, Buttercup, Talisman, ooh, need to drop that, Wesley, Umami, Sweetie, Buddy, Shadow, Jitters, Sparkle, Shimmer, Gold Rush, Elix, Savannah, Ajax, Gemma, Frazzle, Buddy, Night Bright, Pinky Toe, Taylor, Zircon, Toasty, Starburst, Hocus, Chonkers, Carney, Pocus, obviously, Greenhorn, Dazzle, and Twinkle. So quite a lot of these. The last 2 piles of cards are the enchantment piles. So there's 2. There's the purple pile and the gold pile. You would only use 1 of the types in a game, and it's a difficulty based one. So the purple ones are easier to pull off but give you fewer rewards, and then the gold ones are harder to pull off but give you more rewards. So these are things like, this is a bread enchantment. You can see you need to have 2 herbs and 3 bits of meat. You can go to a bread shop and choose to enchant it. By paying in this stuff to the bank, you would get 4 reputation and 1 artisan dragon. And then you would tuck this behind a shop and get an extra piece of bread when you go to the shop. So the enchantments are helpful not just to you, they're helpful to everyone, because it means if someone else goes to that bread shop, they would get an extra piece of bread as well. So it's, it depends how you want to play, but you need them to get reputation. It's probably it's the easiest way to get reputation, really. But you see, there's loads of different kinds of enchantments, and they scale in difficulty, and yeah, that's what those are. I haven't looked at the gold ones yet. So yeah, gold ones are a bit more complicated. You can see this symbol here means you can't use a coin in exchange for these. This one says you need a coin, and yeah, they're a bit more complex. You see, this one gives you 3 reputation, 2 coins, and 1 dragon. So for more advanced gameplay, you would use these ones. but it's not like crazy difficulty. Okay, so that's everything that's in the box except for the playmat, so I guess we've got to get that out now. Okay, so we've got this really long rolled up neoprene mat. Let's move this to the side. Not going to be able to roll this out fully on the camera because it's too long, but you'll be able to get a kind of gist of what goes on here. So if we have a look, it's just a really nice layout. It kind of reminds me of, did any of you have that rug as a kid that was like a town? I'll put an example of one on screen. I feel like everyone I know had one of these. Just something that everyone had in childhood. Anyway, it kind of reminds me of that. You've got different places for different things. So here is where the shops would go. So you'd put the shops above or below here, and then you'd be putting the dragons on top of the shops. This is the coin fountain, so that's where the coins live. That is where the fancy dragons go. That's where the artisan dragons go. And this is known as the park. So you'd have some of the dragons playing face up in the park, and you can pull them from there. Then over here is the score tracker. So if I move this over, so you can kind of see that you start the score tracker kind of over here, and then you go 1 all the way around the tracker to 50, and then flip the token over and go all the way around again. That's how you keep an eye on your score. This is where the enchantments would live, and then you'd put some face up here that are available to you. So it's quite a long mat, but it's not very thick, so it still fits on a table really well. It's kind of nice because I always like a neoprene mat with a board game. Like the Kickstarters often have a neoprene mat as like a, not stretch goal, but part of like a collector's edition or an all-in pledge or something. Whereas Flamecraft just went, nah, neoprene is the only way to get this. So even the 30 quid standard edition comes with a neoprene mat, which is awesome value. So that's what's inside the box for the deluxe edition, but there are a few more things that I have to show you. So as this was the deluxe Kickstarter pledge, thankfully the eBay seller also had pretty much all of the other goodies that you got for backing on Kickstarter, so I have those as well. We've got a big pile of stuff here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are art prints, and they're the artwork of the shops in the game. Not all of them are in here, but I think most of them, and they're just really nice art prints without any of the text or anything on them. So really, really lovely. I'd love to find somewhere to display these. I really don't know the best way to do it. Maybe in like a photo frame where you can punch them out or something, but really lovely art prints. We also got this enamel pin of one of the fancy dragons breathing some flames. Very, very nice. You know, stuff that isn't that, it has no impact on the game at all, but nice to have extra stuff. Here we have some bookmarks. I think there's like 7 in here. It's 1 for each of the different kinds of dragon, and they look really, really nice. I'm not a big reader these days, but maybe my wife could make use of them. And we also got 2 sets of 2 coasters. So this is what the art looks like on one of them. They're having some drinks and some food and a picnic, and then having a picnic as well, but in sort of the autumn season. So these are the main dragons here catching up. Really, really nice coasters. And then one last thing that does actually affect gameplay. This is the infamous pink fancy dragon miniature. So I mentioned that there were 7 player guides, but only 6 characters in the box. So that's because they made a 7th character that you could only get as part of the Kickstarter. I believe you either had to solve like a puzzle or you could buy it separately. But because this was exclusive to the Kickstarter, it meant that it's quite sought after. I've seen people trying to sell this dragon on its own for like 40-50 pounds, which is just silly, really. It doesn't introduce any benefits to players, it's just an extra dragon. Inside the box you get the miniature. Oh, there's a bit of plastic on it. Pink dragon mini. Looks very nice. Exactly the same quality as the other dragons, but pink. Then you of course get the meeple. So I guess if you have friends that had the standard edition of the game, then you could take your fancy dragon and play with that. And then this is the reputation tracker as well. So yeah, nothing special, but it's just nice to have another playable character. You can only have up to 5 players in the game, but you have 7 different coloured dragons to choose from, so variety is always good. In addition to everything that was in the Kickstarter, they've continued to release stuff for Flamecraft, I guess just as they've, you know, got new artwork and stuff. So I mentioned before, there are promo shops that you can find in different places, but they're quite hard to come by and they're not that important to have, but they do look very nice. They also have some additional miniatures that you can buy. There's a set of 7 minis, so it includes a pink mini, but they're all different sculpts to the ones that are in the box and this one here. So they're pretty cute. Maybe I'll pick them up just to add them to the collection, but if you already have the meeples or the minis, they don't really add anything. I guess it's good for if you got the standard edition, it means that you can have a miniature of each of them to play with, including the pink one, which would have not been in your version, so that's pretty nice. They also have the jumbo wooden tokens. They have the Series 2 coins, and I believe there are plushies of the different kinds of dragons as well. I would love a bread dragon plushie, he's so cute. But anyway, that is Flamecraft. It's a very cute board game. It's a lot of fun to play. It's nice to have a board game for a change that doesn't rely on dice rolls. It's purely just, you know, based on decision making, and it's quite laid back. It's kind of cooperative and competitive at the same time, and it's just a really nice game to get to the table, so I'd highly recommend it. I'm going to be playing with my friends hopefully sometime before Christmas. This makes me even more excited for Critter Kitchen, which I believe is going to be fulfilled and delivered sometime in January or February 2025. I'm so looking forward to that one. It's, as I said, drawn by the same artist, and it's released by Cardboard Alchemy, but it's all around making meals and working in a restaurant, so it just looks so good. Anyway, enough rambling from me. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Flamecraft below, and until next time, I'll catch you on another video.